Welcome to the conclusion of Shark Week on Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review The Last Sharknado. It's about time. History's biggest disaster comes to an end.
Directed by Anthony C. Ferranteand, starring Ian Ziering, Reid, Cassie Scerbo, Judah Freelander, Vivica A. Fox, and many more. The Last Sharknado is about Finn having to go back in time to rejoin his family and stop the first ever Sharknado.
Before we get into this, it's a little touching for me because the very first Bloodbath and Beyond episode was Sharknado 1.
What did we like about this movie? Let's not be too negative. Let's say what we liked.
I really liked the characters and their performances.
We can't just wait here and wait for sharks to rain down on us again. We just need to arm ourselves with something more powerful than these.
So we brought back the cups.
And this is our very last Bloodbath and Beyond video.
No, it's not. It's not. It's our very last Sharknado review. Unless they pull some shit like they did with the Hatchet series. In Hatchet 3, I'm like, it's ending now. And then they came out with another one. Well, I'm pretty sure this is it. I even brought back the old hat. It's disgusting, but I'm wearing it.
What do we like about this movie, guys?
I like that the cast has been reunited and we had everybody back in action. Finn, multiple versions of Gil, but most importantly, Matt, also Nova.
Cassie Scerbo, since day one, she's been the babe of this franchise. Her character Nova is probably one of the best characters in this series. Other than Finn, I think he clearly takes the cake.
I don't know. Reid has range.
She has range. She's got laser beams coming out her freaking head.
Going through time was just ridiculous enough that it was the perfect send-off to this franchise.
Bye! They need to always outdo themselves. And how do you outdo themselves when you've gone through 5 movies of Sharknados? How do you one-up that? Dragon Sharknado. Dinosaur Sharknado. Go through all of these different time periods and have fun with it. And I think they did a good job with that. I don't think they really nailed all of the time traveling stuff, but I like that there were so many different settings going on that's not just walking around New York.
British are throwing flying sharks at us.
I did like the fact that they had certain cameos and they would use their real life fame in the dialogue.
Like when Dee Snider says like, twisted mister, I fucking lost it.
You got it all twisted.
Yeah, I think I know who's twisted, mister.
Shout out to fucking Ben Stein. Who even remembered Ben Stein and winning Ben Stein's money?
But if you're smart enough, quick enough, and lucky enough, you can win Ben Stein's money.
They also had to come up with interesting ways to defeat a Sharknado in a certain time period. So in the 50s, you use a laser. In the Western times, you used a laser. Then it was a cannon. Sharks eating meteors that build up into a digestive bomb that can tackle a Sharknado. Like, how do you come up with that stuff?
Brilliant writing.
Dartboard.
They also had to come up with unique ways to get out of time, which was another ridiculous way of just like coming up with the stupidest things in just the most fun way. Using a train, using a pterodactyl, using, gunpowder electrocuted by Benjamin Franklin's kite. Like, come on. You gotta appreciate. What didn't we like about this movie?
Much like the rest of the franchise, other than number 1, I feel that all of the jokes were low-hanging fruit.
Shark kebab.
But I was just cringing, like every time. It's like, okay, I know what that person's gonna say because I know their character from something else.
You have this pedestal that they've set for themselves with cameos, and I feel this is the weakest of all of the Sharknados with their cameos.
Definitely.
And to finish this off, and you can't even get David Hasselhoff or Dolph Lundgren back, who have been in the previous ones and were even in the last one.
It's like the Dancing with the Stars problem, Maybe you get a star season 1. Maybe season 2. But then by movie 6, season 13, you're not dancing with stars anymore.
You're dancing with
YouTubers.
One day we will dance.
The hell was that?
Maybe that's how sharks evolved over the last 20,000 years. Can't wait to see what the humans look like.
The buzz that the first one got really enticed people to want to be in the Sharknado franchise. The fact that there's like 6 cameos in this, basically, and we knew 4 of them. I guess Neil deGrasse Tyson was the best one, but like everybody else is just like, oh, that must be offspring but I don't really know what they look like because they haven't done anything in 30 years. So.
The obvious aside, logic is thrown out the window, so don't come looking for that. Things purposely don't make sense, so you can't really nitpick on it for having stupid things like that.
But it is frustrating to watch, especially when it comes to time travel, because time travel is one of those things where it's like, you need to set out the rules, but they were like fucking with the rules. Like, wait, why did some people have lasers way back in the day? And I heard that this guy can only time travel one time.
Does that mean Gil's here too?
No, it turns out you can only go back into time once.
But now he's in multiple different versions of time.
Even the idea of letting a character stay back in time.
I taught history for 25 years. Now, I'm ready to live it.
Where all Nova wanted to do was save her grandpa, and Finn was like very against it.
We get like poking holes in a fucking Sharknado movie sounds weird. But I mean, the movie itself like contradicted itself many, many times to the point where it's like, okay, let's just go on to the next scene and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you're almost just going through the motions at that point because there is a lot of cool stuff that's happening, but nothing too cool. Nothing that I would say like, oh shit, did you see Sharknado 6?
That's the problem with them trying to like one-up themselves. You can't really create anything that's going to be groundbreaking, especially when the shark kills themselves. They're all the same things that we've seen from 1 to 5. They're either going to blow up the NATO or they're going to cut sharks in half in slow motion. And when the sharks come to kill people, it's just them like flying in and landing or biting.
Right. We even have basically reused footage of just like a hammerhead shark splatting on some person. It's like, yeah, we saw that in number 1 or 2.
You know what I hated, if we're going to nitpick?
And we
10 minutes,
we are gonna nitpick.
Yeah. The first 5-10 minutes were just like, you gotta go and stop the first Sharknado, and that'll stop every Sharknado.
Gil said if we stop the first Sharknado, we can stop them all.
And it didn't stop one Sharknado. There was still plenty of Sharknados. If they went back in time, that would make sense. Just like, oh, jump back. This was the first one? No, there's still one before that. We'll jump back.
You're
but they
right.
jump forward.
Yeah.
Right. If they would have ended with that, it would have made way more sense.
Yeah, end in the prehistoric period, not like 2013 or 20,013. That was actually pretty dumb.
Aprils.
It's Planet of the Aprils.
Tara Reid cannot hold her own when it comes to being several thousand of her on screen.
I don't think that she can hold her own as a singular actress.
So to wrap it all up, at the end of the movie, they reset time when robot head Tara Reid and Ian Ziering kiss and explode the time-warped Sharknado. And then everything goes back and we get our happy ending. How did you feel about the happy ending?
The ending was actually really touching.
Yeah, I was good with the ending.
It was a good send-off because you get to see familiar faces hanging out in Finn's old stomping grounds. They even threw in some John Hurd footage for George, even grabbing his stool, whether or not his stand-in looked like him at all. But I just appreciated everything that happened at the end.
It's time for our final thoughts and rating. It's sad when things come to an end. Something that we once loved, fallen so low. Obviously, the novelty's worn off. You really back yourself into a corner when you're only dealing with Sharknados. I feel like the acting, even for as bad as a movie this is wanting to be, was still just bad. I mean, I don't want them to ever do another Sharknado movie. I want it to just end as what we once had, what launched 3 beautiful men's careers on YouTube. Hey, I'm Trav. I'm the center of this reverse Oreo. And as we continue without Sharknado into the future, as the last one, I'm pretty disappointed. So I'm going to give this 2 gun sharks out of 5.
It wasn't stellar, but I did appreciate some things. I liked the aspect of going back in time because we played with so many different events that the action kept on going. But it just felt monotonous at some point. Where it's just like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of cool shit that's happening, but it's like not even that cool. It's just like some shit is happening, and you're just watching it, and you're just like, is this going to end? And what time period are we going to end at? I like the inclusion of a lot of the people from the past films. However, none of the cameos were cool. None of the shark kills were cool. And the fact that they just kept contradicting themselves over and over again with how time travel and defeating Sharknados even works was kind of frustrating. There was some fun to be had, but not all of the fun was had. I'm super hammered. I don't know what I'm saying. So I'm just going to give this 1.5 chainsaw swords in the stone out of 5.
After the 4th Sharknado, I really felt that the series needed to end. It just became too repetitive and there was nothing new that they could bring to the table. I will give them credit in the fact that they did try to make time traveling fun, but the fact that they contradicted themselves in each time period, it's not that it was confusing, it just didn't make any sense. And that's hard to really say when it's a Sharknado film, because this film is not supposed to make sense. You're supposed to just have fun with it as though it's a wild roller coaster ride. But it's not. Its predecessors were, in the sense that whenever a new one came out, you had fun cameos, you had crazy situations, and you had cool shark kills. But this just dropped the ball. I do appreciate that when they finished it, they gave us closure. But the build-up to that point was not as fun as what I hoped. Maybe Thunder will finally listen to us and bring back mutant vampire zombies from the hood. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 1 surfing shark out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, the link's in the description where you can find it. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And thank you guys for joining us for Shark Week. Next year, I have no idea what the hell is going to happen, honestly. Because I think this was the worst one yet.